Hello, welcome my beautiful souls to the intuitive card reading for the week of December 8th through 14th. You guys know what to do. Please like this video. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies and the influences of the week. What else? Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps and I would really appreciate that. Comments down below, I always appreciate them as well. All I ask is that you be kind. Okay, with giving any feedback or making any comments, that's all. I would love to see how this reading resonates with you guys, and I think that's it. Same 3 decks, nothing surprising here, all shuffled. Pretty sure they're in a different order, but they're lined up the way that feels intuitively good to me. And that's it, guys. Let's see what we got in store. What's going on? What do we need? We need happy. Okay, so we need to do things that make us feel joyful. We need to do things that really make us feel happy. I would also say, even though it's not quite this way and it's not necessarily the overpowering energy here, but also things that like really make you feel passionate or more purposeful. It feels like we're kind of going in that direction, but anything that would just kind of like bring you joy, anything small maybe that you used to do, that maybe you haven't done in a while, but you kind of need a little bit more of like a pick-me-up. This could go either way for this week. Like, do we need to pick me up because it's not going to be such a great week? Or are we moving in a direction where we are feeling a little bit more content with our lives? We are feeling more positive emotions than negative emotions. Things are looking up, that kind of thing. So we'll see, obviously, as we go through, but it's pretty simple right off the bat here, right out the gate. Yeah, do something that's, and we really need it, right? So treat yourself to that coffee. Maybe you've been like on a financial journey of some kind and, you miss, treating yourself in some way, shape, or form. So go ahead and, treat yourself. So love that. Pretty simple. What do we need to take action on? Protection, guardian, drop your shield. Okay, so this is really about, I have my hair stuck in here. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully you can't see that. Okay, so protect your guardian, drop your shield. So basically it's saying, okay, we need to maybe put our walls down a little bit. Maybe we need to be a little bit more vulnerable with the people around us or new people that we meet. Maybe we need to stop being so guarded. This could also be overprotection energy where it's like, we're maybe if you're a parent, you're being too, you're being a little bit of a helicopter parent lately, and you kind of really need to take action on that and kind of like pull back, be a little bit more lax, that kind of thing. It feels like, also too, like maybe you're being too rigid in certain things, and that could definitely, coincide with the happy card there, where it's kind of saying like you're, when I was just talking about like maybe you've been really tight on your finances, and good for you, like that's awesome, and you've been sticking to your goals and you want to stick to your goals, but it's okay if you treat yourself. So maybe don't be so rigid on your budget, disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. So do what feels good to you and what feels right for you in your life, what feels aligned. But this might have something to do with that. It's basically saying like, don't be so rigid. It's okay to kind of fall out of that a little bit. Don't beat yourself up, like that kind of stuff. And it's coming under the needs section here. So it's basically saying like our soul needs it. Like we need to do that. We need to experience this. So definitely could be, emotionally, could be like less rigid in routine, things like that. All right, what do we have issues with? We have upside down vampire. Dude, this card comes out, I think it has come out the last 3 readings, including maybe the monthly, so that would make sense. So it's come out upside, it's come out reverse. It is the vampire. It is coming reverse now, okay, for this one. So depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining and codependency. Okay, so this is like the draining of energy, basically. That's what we think of when we think of vampire. Like they drain it, they take our blood, they drain us of our life force, basically, right? So basically it's saying we're having an issue with that. So like I said, it's been kind of flip-flopping each way. So something tells me like a lot of you guys are kind of like struggling with figuring out, or maybe it's not the clarity piece about like what drains your energy and what does. But maybe it has something to do with like not being able to rid it of your life, out of your life. Like maybe there is maybe you're moving soon, but you have to put it has to be in divine timing. You have to put your house for sale and all this stuff. But maybe you have like, maybe the environment that you're in, you know, maybe it's your roommates that are draining you, your neighbors that are draining you, you know, and you can't sleep and it's draining you of your resources. Maybe the house is a money pit or something like that, and it can't happen necessarily right away. You're making plans maybe to move out of this situation, but there's something that kind of goes back and forth, right? Where, you know, the thing that is still maybe draining your energy is still being an issue this week. Okay, so do the best we can with that. Like I said, it could be like a location. Look, you know, environment is like a big thing. Like a lot of people don't really get that, but environment is a big thing. Like when it comes to your energy, there are places that energize you. There are places that exhaust you. I live in New York City. A lot of people say that exhausts them. It actually does the opposite for me. It actually energizes me. I happen to live alone. That might be part of it. You know, because I'm alone when to recharge. And I do live in Manhattan, so when I walk outside, there are lots of people always, but you know, it energizes me. You know, it's a place where I feel like anything is possible. I love the diversity here. It's just, you know, you can get anything at any time, the convenience. So there's a lot of things that, you know, energize me, but I can see how it can, you know, deplete others. But anyway, this is really talking about like the things that deplete you, okay? And so could be environment. I'm just giving that as an example. This is for the collective, so it could mean people, could be, like I said, places, could be, you know, work situations, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's still lingering is what I can say here. All right, challenge. We have flexible. Okay, so we have issues being flexible. We have issues with adaptability. We have issues with going with the flow. We have some kind of challenge here where we're not being able to be as flexible as possible. Now, it's not like, how do I say this? It's not like we're refusing. I feel like it's like we're coming across like Spirit is showing me like a door, like we're not able to like walk through the door, like we're hitting it's almost like we're hitting a door, we're hitting a wall, like we can't necessarily be as flexible as possible. Like I feel like it might be like a physical issue kind of like holding us back, right? Where I kind of feel like it was kind of similar with like the vampire situation. It's like maybe we can't, maybe you were offered a new job that requires like more flexible hours, but you really can't because you're a parent, and maybe you're a single parent and you really can't necessarily do it right now. So life is calling for you to be flexible and adaptable, and for some reason we're having challenges doing that. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be because we just don't want to, or we feel scared to do so or whatever. It just feels like there might be like another barrier here. I do feel like this will lift pretty soon. Like I'm getting like a temporary type energy. So if you can do it temporarily, like if you could figure out like childcare or something, like for like the next 3 weeks or like however long, like maybe you're starting a new job and they want you to be in the office at certain times for like 3 weeks training or something. This is a very specific example, but this is like the best way I can kind of explain the energy. Is just like maybe you could figure out childcare in the next 3 weeks or figure something out, or whatever. But I definitely do feel like it's like temporary in some way, shape, or form. So you kind of just have to figure it out, at least for now. And I definitely feel like more of a solution comes more towards the end of the week. Since this is a weekly, even though things mesh a little bit, can mesh into each other's weeks and stuff. It's not like, it's not dead on, the week start, at the dates. But yeah, I definitely feel like we could, everything is figure outable, and I feel like we need to hear that. All right, what's changing is Lord, take charge of authority. Okay, so what's changing is more leadership energy, that you feel more like of an authority, like maybe more people in your life are looking at you and more of authority in some way, shape, or form, like a specific area of life. Maybe maybe some of you are getting a promotion. Maybe some of you guys are just taking charge in more ways than one about like one area in your life. But I definitely feel, I wouldn't call this an empowerment card, but I'm definitely feeling that, right? I've been slowly feeling from last week's energy, like us, I think we got 2 power cards in that reading about us just feeling more empowered, feeling we're more in control about our life and things are getting better in that way. So yeah, it definitely feels like, you know, you're feeling more like you're an authority on something as well. Like maybe you started real estate like 6 months ago and you were super new to the industry, and now you're just feeling like you know a lot more and you feel like more comfortable because people in your life are like coming to you about real estate questions and you know, moving questions and things like that. So something is changing where you're embodying that a lot better and you're feeling more comfortable as an authority, as a leader, you know, something along those lines. And I see it as a really positive thing. So that's cool. All right, focus. Monk nun in the shadow, negative judgment of the physical world, excess piety. Okay, so this is about, this is kind of specific about, so when it's in the shadow, it's kind of like you shun material things or you look down on people about maybe more material stuff. You're a little, I know I can get like this when I'm like really kind of like spaced out, and it's kind of like, I'm like, oh, human problems, you know what I mean? Like if this is especially for anybody out there that feels like they are a little too spaced out. This might be a little specific, but let's go with it. But it definitely feels like we need to kind of like focus more on our humanity, and we need to really kind of like focus on, you know, make it a priority, like more of the material things. So what do I mean by this? So like this definitely needs an example. Like if you feel like basically it's saying like if you want something materially that maybe seems kind of silly but you've kind of always wanted it, go for it. Okay, this is definitely like, if you're listening to this and you're like, I know exactly what she's talking about. And by the way, if you do, put it down below. I'd love to hear it. Like if there's something that you've always kind of wanted but maybe costs too much money. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I know I'm bringing up money a lot here, but you guys are responsible for how you spend your money and how you save your money and all that stuff. But it's almost like maybe there's something that you kind of always wanted and you kind of always thought it was like silly to purchase or get or, you know, experience or like whatever it actually is. But this is basically saying like, go for it. Like this is pretty, like sometimes when the really specific things come out, like I feel like at least one person needs to hear this, but it needs to come out. Like I need to say like, if you're thinking about making a purchase of some kind or getting something, maybe it doesn't even cost any money, that, you know, that is more of the material realm or doesn't really make sense, or, you know, maybe you just moved and you've always kind of wanted like a big statue of something. This is basically saying like, why can't you have it? You know, why can't you have it? You know, that kind of thing. So it definitely does feel like we need to, you know, maybe a personal example I can give is like, I've been thinking a lot about, I'm noticing like I'm starting to be a little bit more attracted to more expensive clothing. And I have never been in my whole life, mostly because I can't take care of them properly. You know, I usually buy things that are cotton, so it's easy to wash and dry. You know, I've never bought something that you have to dry clean or, you know, outside of like special occasions, I would say, or something that you really have to take care of, or even hand wash, right? And I've noticed in a weird way, I'm more attracted to that type of clothing, or just the transformation I've been having, where I really do appreciate more, you know, nicer clothing, you know, investing. And that's the other thing. It could be an investment. Okay. So, you know, if I kind of reframe it and think of it that way, it's kind of like, oh, okay. So, this to me would be like, it's okay to go for the nicer clothing. It's okay to want to look nice. It's okay to prioritize fashion, and it's okay to prioritize like expensive pieces. You know, don't like overblow your budget or anything, but it is okay to kind of go for those things. So that's the example I could kind of give for that. It could look differently for everybody, but I feel like someone at least needed to hear that. So there you go. Let's keep going. What do we need to reflect on? Blessed. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. This one is about gratitude. Being, you know, what have you been? Makes sense. I would actually expect this in the next couple of readings, to be honest, and because we're in December, so a lot of us are kind of like looking back at the year and kind of, you know, it's like a look back type energy as we get closer to the new year. So what have you been blessed with this week? What are you grateful for? this week, this year, whatever, looking back, go as far as you want. But like I said, a lot of people kind of reflect on the year around this time. So yeah, what are you grateful for? I know I haven't tapped into a lot of gratitude, and not to shame anybody, and I don't shame myself. It's just I haven't been feeling grateful. Like I've been going through a kind of miserable time, but I'm open to this for sure. Responsibilities, ego, see from a higher perspective. Okay, so your responsibility is to kind of see things from somebody else's perspective, from a different, from a higher perspective, could be a more evolved perspective, but a different perspective in general. So it's your responsibility to kind of see things from all angles. This can be at work. Maybe they're trying to implement like a new rule at work, and and it's supposed to benefit employees, but you don't like it so much. And it's kind of like Spirit is saying, like, it's your responsibility to really look at everything, and look how it could affect everybody involved. So it's just see from a different perspective on something. It doesn't have to be work. It is next to money, finances, and career, but it doesn't have to be work. Could be anything. Okay, this is interesting. We have the victim in money, finances, and career, but we have it up, okay? So prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Okay, so this I would say kind of counts as like an empowerment card, because we're kind of getting that energy, because it's basically saying like, I'm not going to be the victim here. You know how I hate using this word in archetype, but here we are. Here it is in the archetype deck, and here it is being pulled. So basically it's basically saying like, you are... you're not allowing yourself to play the victim. You're going after what you actually want. Like, and that to me is empowerment, right? You're not a victim. You're a survivor. It's kind of like saying like, you will kind of do anything to get out of the situation that you're in. So if you're in money trouble, if you're in financial trouble, or it doesn't even have to be trouble. It could be like in a place where you don't want to be, or maybe you're not making enough, or, it's not a good situation or environment that you're in, that you're saying like, I'm not going to be in this environment anymore. I'm going to really be headstrong and take initiative, which makes sense because the authority is always about initiative too, being more of a leader. So like I said, I'm getting empowerment from here too. So these two could definitely be linked for sure. So something is changing within you where you're being more empowered, and you're saying like, I'm not going to stand for this anymore. I'm not the victim here. I'm going to get out of this situation. So this could just be like as simple as like a declaration of getting out of debt, right? Where you're saying like, I'm not going into, I'm not going to be as financially irresponsible as I was this year going into next year, right? You could be thinking about next year as far as like a resolution goes. So this, it just feels like we're becoming more empowered about our current situation, and we're saying, I'm not dealing with this anymore. And I love that, right? So I got two, cards that maybe are not technically empowerment cards, but definitely feeling that energy from both of them. So I love that. It's like you're taking charge of your life. Okay, higher power, surprise. Okay, so this is basically saying every time higher power comes through, it's about like connecting to something bigger than us. So it being under surprise could be that maybe you feel more connected than usual, like something happens. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. I don't know. Can't think of something off the top of my head. Maybe you just like have like a really vivid dream where you feel like you're really connected to spirit in some way, shape, or form. So something, I almost want to say like something metaphysical happens to us this week, or, we just feel really, really connected. It's not a bad thing at all. It's a good thing. It's like a positive thing. So yeah, there's really not more I can say about that. It just feels like it's under surprise. So I feel like it's like we're not even trying. You know how we can get this card, like, or any card that tells us to really connect to our spiritual practices. We feel disconnected. We don't even have to try. Like something happens where we feel more connected to spirit in some way, shape, or form. Spirit, divine, God, whatever you want to say. So I love that. I love when it kind of comes out of nowhere. Okay, we have friends, be devoted and committed. What a nice card to get for friends. So there's not much more I can say here. I would say try to keep a commitment to a friend. They, you may not realize it, but they really need it. Commit, maybe this is a new commitment to someone. Maybe you're committing something to a friend I don't know, any kind of, like, it could even be like a promise, making a promise to a friend could also be here. Could be a long-term friend for sure, because it could symbolize like somebody that you've been committed to for like a long time, or committee, or like a community committee type of situation going on. Anything, you know, friends I look at, like family could also be here, making a commitment to a family member, you know, something along those lines. Like friends to me is like people that you surround yourself with, and the ones that you have the closest relationship to in life. And this could be even colleagues too, to be honest. But you're committing something to someone, and it's important that you do so, is basically what it's saying. Romantic connection, we have athlete in the shadow. Okay, so this really is, what's an athlete? Somebody that is dedicated, somebody that is has a lot of willpower, has a lot of discipline, and it's in the shadow. So it's saying that we don't have discipline, we don't have willpower. So there's something here in our romantic connections where we kind of do not have the strength almost to, it is coming right off the committed card, but I don't want to say the strength to commit to somebody, but also like we don't have the, it's almost like we don't have the patience, we don't have the stamina to do something with our partner. This could come down to something as simple as like we just don't have the energy to maybe go out on a date night or do something for our partner this week. Like we're just maybe extra tired and we just like need to rest and we can't keep going. Or you can't keep going with something like the way that things are going in your relationship. You just can't keep going for whatever reason. Maybe that's not a good thing. But it just feels like we can't kind of keep, this could also mean like you can't keep up with your partner. Maybe you guys are just like two ships passing in the night, and maybe they're more extroverted, you're introverted, you can't keep up. There's something here about like not being able to be disciplined enough, not being able to have the stamina. This could mean a lot of different things. I don't know, maybe in the bedroom. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. So, but there's just something that feels like the other person is almost like like maybe it's like financially. I know I keep bringing up finance stuff, but it's good for a lot of examples. Maybe you can't keep up financially with your partner and you're feeling a certain way about it, but it definitely does feel like you might feel like you're falling behind, or you can't keep up in some way, shape, or form with your partner. People that are single, maybe you've overpacked your schedule and you can't keep up with all your dates. It's nice to be booked out, but you know, and have, you know, and be out on dates, but maybe you just literally can't keep up. So there's like a level of exhaustion here, which is interesting. Not the same energy from the vampire, but definitely could be connected in some way, shape, or form, where somebody might be draining your energy or something might be draining your energy. So could be connected, maybe not, but interesting energy there. But something about not being able to keep up. We get the athlete card a lot, but not in romantic connection. So it's very interesting there. All that glitters. Okay, so it's important to know that not everything on the other side of is the other side of the fence. You know, the grass is always greener is what I'm thinking about. Not everything is the way that it seems. Not everything is better than what you currently have. So it's important that we understand that. There's a little humility always attached to this card, and this could be relationships, but it could also be anything. It could be work, you know, it could be maybe a car. Maybe you're thinking of trading in your car, but maybe your car works just fine, you know, like that kind of thing. And maybe things aren't better on the other side for another, you know, trading in another car, getting another lease, you know, all that stuff. So there's something here where it's saying like maybe appreciate what you have. We also have the blessed card, the gratitude stuff going on. So that makes sense. They could be connected, but not everything is greener on the other side of the fence. Is that the saying? Guys, don't kill me. I think it might be. I usually butcher these things, but okay, health and wellness. We have air guardian, shift your perception. Makes sense. We have the ego. These are eagle, not ego, eagle. And it's kind of the same message. It's basically saying like, make sure you're able to see different things. This is under responsibilities. This is under health and wellness. Okay. So I would say responsibilities within health and wellness, potentially doubling down here, saying that make sure you see all sides of things. So if you're thinking about taking a medication, make sure you see the pros, make sure you see the cons, make sure you see all of the things that are associated with it, make sure you see all the perceptions of it. Maybe if I was talking about like a weight loss journey here, maybe see all sides to it. And it could also mean like maybe reframing things, like maybe you are beating yourself up because you haven't lost as much weight as you wanted to by the end of the year or by the holidays or whatever it actually is, or maybe you gain weight because of the holiday that we just had, whatever it. Think about how far you've come instead. So it's kind of about shifting perception in that way as well, seeing the pros and cons, seeing things from a different perspective, you know, reframing things as well. Overall outcome, we have artist. Okay, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. Okay, so this is about being creative. This is about being inspirational. So it's on the overall outcome, so that's great. So at the end of the week, we're definitely going to feel more inspirational, more creative, more innovative, like almost like a renewed, I mean, tying it back to the happy, like a renewed sense of maybe optimism, a renewed sense of contentness, feeling more happy in general, maybe about the outlook of life or just like how life is right now, which I think is great, but could also be quite literally you're becoming more creative. Maybe you start a creative project towards the end of the week. You know, you get like a burst of inspiration to do something that maybe you haven't had in a really long time and you decide to do it. But to me, it feels like very, again, inspirational, optimistic, and we love ending the week like this. Because to be frank with you, like looking at everything, I don't see one red flag. I mean, obviously the issues and the challenges are always going to be, you know, challenging in that way. But other than that, I really don't see anything. I mean, the only thing here is like the not being able to keep up with the partner thing, but I don't think that's like, it doesn't feel like super negative. It just feels like someone's pulling ahead somewhere and that's it, you know, it's just whatever. Like if your partner is making more than you, it's kind of like, okay, whatever, you know, maybe we have like our own, you know, qualms about it or whatever, but I don't see it as like a red flag or like anything super negative. So I love this. I think it's a really good week, honestly. Yeah, guys, I like this. Okay, guys, so you know what to do. I mentioned in the beginning of the video, comments down below, and I just want to wish you guys a very, very happy week.